Hi, you're listening to Light Lounge with Dimitri K, broadcasting around the world, award winners and emerging artists from the city beautiful Orlando, Florida. Sending a thoughtful message in Christmas cards, holiday emails or festive media posts is a great way to deepen our connections in the holiday season. In this line of thoughts we have the quotes of many artists, politicians and others, so let's hear some of it. At Christmas all roads lead home. Marjorie Holmes. With only a few words saying so much, isn't it? Christmas is doing a little something extra for someone. By Charles M. Schultz. Yes, it is. Christmas is a personal experience and at the same time a holiday for all of us. And that here another one. Christmas is not as much about opening our presents as opening our hearts. Janice Mid-Tire quotes about hearts and passion always work well. In this line of thoughts, Christmas Time is Coming, performed by our first guest, Rhonda Head, is going to merge well with the Christmas spirit.
Excitement building in the air. Santa's on his way to town this year, bringing goodies, sweets, and toys. Santa, Santa, fly your sleigh. The children are waiting. Santa, Santa, fly your sleigh. Christmas time is coming. It's coming. He's bringing love with lots of cheer. Sleigh bells, hay horses pull. Cocoa, chestnuts, popcorn too. A festive time for one and all. Santa, Santa, fly your sleigh. The children are waiting. Santa, Santa, fly your sleigh. Christmas time is coming. It's coming. Christmas Day is almost here. Presents, feasting, Christmas cheer. Great memories, laughter, family time. The Christmas bells are ringing. Santa, Santa, fly your sleigh. Mrs. Claus is waiting. Santa, Santa, fly your sleigh. Christmas time is coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Our first guest tonight is the multi-award winning Mezzo Soprano Rhonda Head from Opaskwayak Cree Nation, Manitoba, Canada. Welcome to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. Rhonda.
Hello, Dimitri. Thank you for having me here today. I'm excited to be here.
You're welcome, Rhonda. We just heard a beautiful song called Christmas Time is Coming, and now let's enjoy Baby You're My Good Thing.
Maybe that's the reason I won't you to know. I feel like I'm in love for the first time. It's like I never felt before. Baby, you're my good thing, and I'm never gonna let you go. I used to be a wild one. My heart was like a stone. I'd love him and I'd leave him and wind up all alone. But that's before I felt the magic and your smile I've come to know. Baby, you're my good thing, and I'm never gonna let you go. The moment that I wake up, I want you by my side. And if I can't be with you, you're still on my mind. I know I sound just like a schoolgirl, but it's all because of you. Baby, you're my good thing, and I'm never gonna let you go. Baby, you're my good thing, and I'm never gonna let you go.
You started playing piano at a young age, then decided to try something different: dance, voice and acting. Then after several albums, we see you at Carnegie Hall and Lincoln Center. Tell us something about your transition from Canada to one of the cultural centers of the world, New York City.
Yeah, I started playing the piano at a young age, then I went into band and I started playing the clarinet and the alto clarinet. Then I moved to Toronto and I started voice lessons. So it was really exciting for me because I've always been involved with music. And what happened was the Flin Flon Choir, which is an hour north of my community in Opaskwayak, the choir director contacted me and she asked me to be part of their choir, and that they were going to be performing at the Lincoln Center, and in the following years they also performed at Carnegie Hall. Of course I was really excited and I said yes, but for me as an Indigenous female musician from northern Manitoba, it was a little bit intimidating, but I've always learned to own my space and to keep continuing on no matter what. And my love for classical music keeps me going back to that genre, and I just absolutely love it. And all the pieces that we performed in Carnegie Hall has been so amazing, and it's one of the beautifulest venues to perform in the world, and that's been such a wonderful experience. And yeah, it opened up my horizons in the world, and I'm really proud to be able to play in a prestigious venue such as Carnegie Hall in New York City.
When you start young, the passion for music never fades away. For you only transitioned from one form to another, and ultimately your perseverance and talent ended up in Carnegie Hall and Lincoln Center. Congrats for that, and I'm sure there will be more of those. We're listening to From Afar.
Can be so hard. Time goes on, goes on, goes on. Still you shine like a distant star. Been so long, so long, so long, so long, but I'm still gonna love you from afar. From afar. From afar. From afar. Time goes on, goes on, goes on. Still you shine like a distant star. Been so long, so long, so long, so long, but I'm still gonna love you. I'm still gonna love you from afar. From afar. From afar.
Couple of years ago, I came across with your album Woniska and shared with you that your transcendental journey through relationships and lands, encompassing despair, love, and joy, was as honest as if touching something from the listeners' own lives. Is that how it was meant to be?
I started recording. I started writing Woniska a few years ago. Some of the songs in there I wrote a few years back, and just the way the album started coming together about the land and my relationships and how I came from like a low point in my life and overcoming it, like to the point where not everything is so sad all the time. And it came, and this album came out of it, and you know, it's just like coming 360 and being happy, from being sad to a happy place. And it was a really sentimental album for me, and that's how that album came to be.
We all have our high and low points in our lives, and what's important is to learn from the experience and find a way to overcome it in a positive way. Listening to Feathers Woniska.
I found $1 lying on the floor. It wasn't there a couple moments before. I can feel your spirit when you're surrounding me. Pennies and feathers, rainbows and sand, teardrops and roses, the lines on your hand, little bird songs and oceans of blue. These are the things that remind me of you. Like an eagle, flying like one, up in the heavens with the wind and the sun. You don't need anyone to be free. Pennies and feathers, rainbows and sand, teardrops and roses, the lines on your hand, little bird songs and oceans of blue. These are the things that remind me
One of your albums, Kayas, was released in 2010. It was recorded in 5 different languages: Italian, French, Latin, English and Cree. It won Best Award Album at the 2011 Native American Music Award. What prompted you to work on such a diversified project?
One of my first albums, Kayas, I was inspired to record that in 5 different languages, because at the time I was studying a lot of different arias, and they're in different languages. They were in Latin, Cree, French, and English, and then I started dabbling in my own language and decided to add a Cree piece in it, and I had a wonderful producer from Toronto, and it was a pleasure to work with, and he made the album sound so beautiful, and that was my first album, and it won my first music award, and after that I wanted to do more, and it was for me, the title of the album means Kayas, which means a long time ago, and that the pieces that I recorded were from a long time ago, and I have such a deep appreciation and love for classical music, and that's what made me decide to work on this project.
It is interesting how languages and cultures interact together, and at a point the music also creates one world, melting landscape. You were born in Canada, and yet your music and thoughts are meant for the world. What would be different if you, for example, were born somewhere else? Or the spirit and compassion for people and music would be unchanged?
Yes, I was born in Canada. I'm an Indigenous from the Cree Nation in northern Manitoba. And yes, my music is worldly. I like to tell stories about my own experiences, and I like to tell stories about the truth that happened to my people in Canada, and just being honest and truthful about the stories that I write with my music, and a lot of the spirituality comes from when I do compose too. I compose it based on the landscape of where I come from, Opaskwayak Cree Nation, and I usually use the tree line as a base for my notes on a music stem, and I just transfer the landscape onto the music stem, and that's where my melodies come from. And people have been moved and touched by my music, and I think that's why. It's because it comes from a real spiritual place.
Indeed, and while we are listening, we can feel the spirituality exuded from your music. You write songs about the experience in your life. Creative people like you always have a story to share. What is the next creative one for Rhonda Head?
The next creative songs I'm working on are about women, Indigenous women, and love. I'm collaborating with my grandson. He wrote a beautiful love poem, and he gave it to me to share it with me, and I'm going to be co-writing it with him. And that's and a lot of the times, the songs just come to me in like 10 minutes, and when the idea comes to me, I just stop and read it real quickly on my notes on my phone or on a piece of paper that I have, and that's where a lot of the songs are born. And it's for me, that's how my creativity of my songs come from.
I'm sure the listeners can't wait to listen to more.
Better than all the rest. Style, charisma, enough said. Piercing dark eyes hypnotize. Move smooth as silk all the time. A smile that can light up a room. Girl, you know what I mean. Mr. Blessed, Mr. Blessed. Let me tell you about Mr. Blessed. Cool, sexy and confident. Oh yeah. Mr. Blessed, Mr. Blessed. Better than all the rest. Style, charisma, enough said. The most interesting man for this girl, for this girl. The most interesting man in the whole wide world. Mr. Blessed, Mr. Blessed. Let me tell you about Mr. Blessed. Cool, sexy and confident. Oh yeah. And I've been thinking about you, you. And I've been thinking about you, Mr. Blessed. And I've been thinking about you, Mr. Blessed. And I've been thinking about you, Mr. Blessed. And I've been thinking about you.
Thanks for stopping by and sharing with the listeners your insights for life and music, Rhonda. And for those who are interested about your music, where can it be found? And now, with Music is the Medicine, from the listeners of Light Lounge with Dimitri K, let's wish Rhonda Head happy holidays and great continuing success with her music.
Done. I'll send this to you right away. Thanks, Dimitri. Have a good day.
Music is the medicine that soothes the soul, helps our people and watch them grow. Music is the medicine that we all hear, bring back memories from year to year. Soothes the soul, makes us whole. From the distance I hear a song, step into the beat, ancestors call. The songs are carried like whispers in the wind. It calls to me like an ancient hymn. Songs are sung and we hear the beat. Music is the medicine, we hear it now. For the people, yeah. 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 For the people, yes. For the people, yeah. For the people, yeah. Music is the medicine that soothes the soul. It heals our people and watch them grow. Soothes the soul, makes us whole. Soothes the soul, makes us whole.
Our next guest tonight is the conductor Eric Holtan, whose True Concord album A Dream So Bright, choral music by Jake Runestad, was nominated for Best Choral Performance. Welcome to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. Eric.
Thank you, Dimitri. It's an honor to be on Light Lounge with you. Thank you so much for having me.
We're listening to Earth Symphony No. 1, Evolution. Eric, you are to a large extent familiar with the Grammy nominations. In 2016, though from another composer, your work was also nominated. Now you present two works, Dreams of the Fallen, commissioned by pianist Jeffrey Beagle, which is a work coming from a veteran from the Iraq and Afghanistan war, highly emotional. Tell us how, as a musician not involved in the actual events, you are able to translate those feelings to the public.
Yes, we were honored with a Grammy nomination in 2016 for Best Choral Performance for an album of works by Stephen Paulus, one of the great American composers whose life was tragically cut short. In fact, just 6 weeks after we recorded our album with Stephen here in Tucson, Arizona, where we're based, Stephen suffered a massive stroke that ultimately ended his life. The main work on that album that we commissioned of Stephen is called Prayers and Remembrances. We commissioned it for the 10th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, and we premiered it on that 10th anniversary. And that work, Prayers and Remembrances, was also nominated for a Grammy for Best Contemporary Classical Composition, and it won. It was very touching to see Stephen's widow and his two sons accept the Grammy on his behalf that year.
Very unfortunate, but very noble for him to receive the award.
This album for which we are nominated this year involves the two works by American composer Jake Runestad. One that we commissioned of Jake, Earth Symphony, and this piece, Dreams of the Fallen, which was commissioned, as you mentioned, by the pianist Jeffrey Beagle. And of course, Jeffrey is featured prominently on the recording. We performed Dreams of the Fallen back in 2018 in Tucson, and I was greatly moved by this work, and I knew we had to record it, and this is in fact the world premiere recording of Dreams of the Fallen. The piece sets to music poetry by Brian Turner. Brian is an accomplished poet, and he is also a veteran of both the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. And the text and the music as well speak powerfully to Brian's experience in combat. The piece starts with the words, and I keep telling myself that if I walk far enough or long enough, someday I will come out the other side. And in fact, the piece ends with those words as well. And between those two bookends is quite an emotional journey that both Brian and Jake take the listener on.
Powerful and emotional words indeed.
In the first part, after that introductory text, Brian and Jake get into the idea of actual combat and describing the bullet. Because here, bullet, here is where I complete the word you bring, hissing through the air. Here is where I moan the barrel's cold esophagus, triggering my tongue's explosives for the rifling I have inside of me. Very powerful words. I am not a veteran. I know many veterans, and I, like all of us, honor and respect and admire those who put their lives on the line in service to our country. I can only imagine the emotions that our veterans have experienced in battle, but then after the battle experience. And this piece really gets at both. In fact, Jake, as a goal for this work, he really wanted to bring attention to that which our veterans experience post their service experience. We hear so many cases of PTSD on the part of our heroes who have served in armed conflict. And Jake wanted to really bring that to the fore in this piece as a way of just deepening the rest of us, the understanding of the rest of us of what these brave heroes go through. This bullet section of the piece then segues through a sort of musical dreamscape, and Jeffrey, our pianist and the commissioner of this work, plays this music brilliantly. It's just a haunting passage that is very dream-like. And again, the title of the work is Dreams of the Fallen, and we can imagine the many dreams, the horrific, frightening dreams that our veterans experience in battle and after battle. And this next part talks about this ringing, this incessant ringing. And I'll read a part of the text here again. There is this ringing hum, this bullet-borne language, ringing, shellful and static, this late-night ringing, hiss and steam, the wing beat of rotors and tanks, broken bodies ringing in steel, humming these voices of dust, these years ringing these children, their gravestones, their limbs gone missing. This eardrum, this rifled symphonic, this ringing of midnight, this threading of bullets in muscle and bone, this ringing hum, this ringing. Again, I can only imagine what our veterans, those who have served in combat have experienced, but this constant ringing, it must be just haunting, like haunting memories of their experiences. The next section goes into a very poignant part of the music. The text is, "It should make you shake and sweat, nightmare you, strand you in a desert of irrevocable desolation. The consequences seared into the vein. No matter what adrenaline feeds the muscle its courage, no matter what God shines down on you, no matter what crackling pain and anger you carry in your fists, my friend, it should break your heart to kill." I think the words speak for themselves. And Jake's setting of these words are gut-wrenching. The piece does end with a hopeful tone. And again, the return of these words, and I keep telling myself that if I walk far enough or long enough, someday I'll come out the other side. We get a glimpse of what that other side is. That side in which those who have served are surrounded by love from friends and family and the community and this country, in gratitude for all that they have done, and that these service people find a sense of resolution and peace and serenity, finally, and much deservedly so, after giving so much. Dreams of the Fallen by Jake Runestad, featuring Jeffrey Beagle and True Concord's Choir and Orchestra. I appreciate all who listen to it, and I know those who have served, also appreciate that we listen with ears of compassion and understanding and respect and admiration and hope.
I believe most of the listeners who even have not been veterans will relate to this powerful music and lyrics. Now let's hear your thoughts about the second part of the album Earth Symphony that you commissioned from Jake Runestad and the libretto from Todd Bass, whose lyrics discuss climate change from the Mother's Earth perspective.
Yes, the second work on our album is Earth Symphony. It is, as you indicated, a work that we commissioned of Jake. We also commissioned the libretto from American poet Todd Bass. It's a real pleasure to be able to work with living composers. In this case, we were able to work closely with the librettist as well. Todd has been to Tucson several times in our work on this recording project. The piece is in 5 movements, and as the title suggests, it is sort of a story of the earth, and it confronts and addresses the current climate situation. But it does so uniquely from the perspective of Mother Earth herself. This was the idea of Jake and Todd's, and I think it's just a really brilliant one. And it starts from the very beginning. The first movement is titled Evolution. The words are, forever alone, 4 billion years of empty space and dormant stone. Then you were born, humankind, and soon your face there dawned a trace of mind. You scorned the odds to be reborn as gods of reason, authors of wonder, inventors of alchemy, chemistry, astronomy. You alone unwound the helix of my chi. You mirrored me to me. Mirabilia. You were my light. Never shall I dare to dream another dream so bright. Mirabilia is Todd's word. It is a word that appears several times throughout the piece. The second movement is called Ambition. It starts, and how are you fallen so soon? Do you remember Icarus, whose father gave him wings of wax and feathers for a toy? And from there, Jake takes us on this sort of epic trip back in time musically, and there's this just exuberant, unadulterated joy from the perspective of Icarus. Oh, joy, so much at hand, to soar the strand over sea and shore, whee, to taste ambition pure. 2 wing beats more, and I can see the patterns on the ocean floor. Oh me, I'm free as albatross, stronger than ever, with a father so clever, with beeswax and feather. I flap them together, and higher I rise. I am a dream, I'll touch the moon. And of course, we know how the story ends with Icarus. Was a little too ambitious, flew a little too close to the sun, and his waxen wings became undone. He tumbled, thrashing, and came crashing into the sea. So fell humanity, so fell I. From the second movement, we go to the third movement, which is titled Destruction. It is powerful. It is epic. The words include, you make your mother torturer, twist me against my nature, waste me to tinder, roast me under the torches of the sun till I'm undone. You dam my waters, bleach my corals, flood me, strangle me, slaughter each other, set me on fire. I am rage. I am war. Where are your gods now? Mirabilia. What have you done? Over-blessed one, briefest of species, what have you done? This movement is very powerful, and it truly gets at the essence of destruction and captures all of the violence and the rage and the damage that we have done over the centuries. This leads to the fourth movement, Lament. And it truly is a lament, and this was another stroke of genius by Jake to use music by Henry Purcell from his Dido's Lament. And Jake scores that music over words. Sleep now, my children. Now your days are done. Nevermore shall you adore the setting of the sun. Sleep now forever, lofted in time. No seraphim to rouse thee, no carillons to chime. Mirabilia, never shall I dare to dream a dream so bright. Oh, this may be my favorite movement, and for several reasons. The story turns here. The story digests what has just come before. All of that ambition, which was preceded by this wonderful sense of pride in mutabilia, the pride felt by Mother Earth. And then we do what we do. We continue to do what we do as a human race to this place that we share and are charged with its care and passing along to generations to come. And yet we're all guilty to some extent of not thinking about the future and not caring about this special place. And that brings us to the lament of Mother Earth, but our own lament as we realize this dire situation in which we all find ourselves here with this planet. But the piece does end on a hopeful tone. The fifth movement is titled Recovery. Sort of starts over with these words: alone forever, the mirror dims, empty space, dormant stone. No, I shall not go alone. Ivy shall recover every avenue, seaweed swallow every drain, and forestry sow a sorcery over every human stain. None shall weep, and none shall witness, while my wordless work is done. Slowly, in the shell of a factory, a gray whale, circling aimlessly, writes a disappearing history in the shadows of the deep. And none shall weep. There shall come a day like the first day, so heavenly, so clear. Mirabilia, you would love it here. What an ending to this piece. Again, with notes of hope and restoration and recovery for this place that we all share and hold dear. This work really is an epic journey, and it has been such a pleasure to work with Jake and Todd on this music, these words that speak so powerfully to all of us in this current situation. And it is our hope that music like this, words like these, can stir in all of us a sense of recommitting ourselves to stewarding this planet, this land, this place for our people now and for our children and grandchildren and the generations to come.
When I first listened to A Dream So Bright album, I was excited to acknowledge the balance between voices and instruments in this recording, and your conductor's ability to interpret the tonal picture created by the composer's imagination rather than his compliance with the conventions. And I'm pretty sure you have great words to say about all your artists and producers.
I've got a great job, Dimitri. I love being the conductor of True Concord Voices and Orchestra. It is such a pleasure to stand in front of really great artists with our chorus and our orchestra. I also get to work with just outstanding guest artists like Jeffrey Beagle. And then we get to interpret and perform music of great composers like Jake Grinestead. And to be able to work closely with Jake in the interpretation of his music is really special. It is meaningful, not just for me, but for our artists. And we perform a lot of music, a lot of masterworks of composers like Bach and Mozart and Handel and Brahms. But we can't ask them any questions, right? We do our best to interpret their music and perform their works in a way that we understand their intentions to be. But there's nothing like working with a real live composer and having the opportunity to have them there and to guide our decisions. Our artists love it, I love it, and we're thrilled to be able to release this recording of Jake's music that have so many people involved, and I'm so thankful to all of them, all of our artists, to Jeffrey, to Jake, to Brian, and to Todd, the poets, to our producer, Peter Rutenberg. We had a great experience working with Peter on our first album that involved the music of Stephen Paulus, that garnered the 2 Grammy nominations and the 1 win. And then we recorded a Christmas album with Peter in 2019, and now this album of Jake's music. And Peter is a great producer, but he also has a great team as well. Steve Kaplan, our recording engineer in particular, and our mastering engineer, John Polito. We're also fortunate to be able to work with Reference Recordings out of San Francisco, which has done a great job in helping promote this album and all of our albums. So it really does take a village, and I have to say I am really blessed to be working in this really terrific village of artists and creators and technicians.
We have followed each other's music for the last few years with you, Eric. I know creative people like you are never idle. What is the next magic coming out of your Pandora box?
Oh yes, Dimitri, I just love the fact that we have been connected through our music for several years now. In fact, I am really grateful for the many connections that I've been fortunate enough to make within the Recording Academy. A community of really great colleagues and artists and creators whose work inspires me every year. I look forward to the Grammy season every year because I am inspired by the creativity and the excellence of artists and creators like you and so many others. In fact, it really gets my creative juices going. I mean, I have lots of ideas and several things in the pipeline. And the next project coming up is an album that we recorded this past May. In fact, I'm in the editing process now. It is an album of works by another American composer, Jocelyn Hagen, a real rising star in a constellation of star choral composers. There are 2 works on the album, one of which we commissioned of Jocelyn. It is called Here I Am. And we commissioned it for the centenary of the passing of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, guaranteeing the right to vote for all women. A hard-fought battle that is worthy of acknowledgement 100 years later. And so I asked Jocelyn to write a piece to mark the occasion. And she did something really amazing. She quoted more than 40 different women, true luminaries, crossing many generations, that celebrate the work and the indelible impact of women, not only in the United States, but on our world. It is an uplifting, inspiring work. We gave its premiere a year ago. We recorded the piece this past May. and it is joined on the album by another really creative work of Jocelyn's called The Notebooks of Leonardo da Vinci. She wrote that piece to mark an important anniversary of Da Vinci, and she studied the notebooks of Da Vinci. She translated his words into English and set those words to music. It's really creative, and it celebrates creativity and ingenuity and excellence. And I'm really excited about both of these works as part of our next album, which we hope to release in 2025.
Remarkable project, which certainly will appeal. Thank you for coming on the show and sharing with the listeners your exciting new album, A Dream So Bright, Eric. And for those who are interested about your music, where can it be found? And now, from the listeners of Light Lounge with Dimitri K, let's wish Eric Holtan happy holidays and great continuing success in his conducting career.
Thank you so much, Dimitri, for having me on your show. It's been a real pleasure to talk with you, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk about our album. Thank you to you. Thanks to all of your listeners who have listened or will listen. And I just want to also say thank you again to the wonderful community of artists and creators who've been so supportive of this album and my work, and who have inspired me to reach higher and be more creative and more excellent. I'm grateful to all of you and wish you and all of your listeners the happiest of holidays and great success in 2025.
Good luck in the second round of the Grammy nominations, Eric, and to you and to the listeners of the show, happy holidays.